One of the smaller countries of Europe is Belgium, yet packed within its diminutive borders are some of the most incredibly beautiful and photogenic cities in Europe. Today we're going to look at two, perhaps the two most photogenic cities in Belgium, Bruges and Ghent. Getting to either of these two cities is fairly simple. There are flights from all over the world into Brussels International and frequent train services from all over Europe to the city's main stations. From there, Ghent is around a 30-minute train ride and Bruges 60 minutes, both on the same track, making it very easy to shoot both cities in one short trip. Getting around in Bruges and Ghent, like most European cities, is easy. There are plentiful buses and trams, and for the more energetic of you, you can also hire bikes. So let's kick off with Ghent. We're going to concentrate on two fantastic locations within spitting distance of each other, St Michael's Bridge and Graaslei. St Michael's is a fantastic location for dawn photography. The sun rises behind the medieval city with its church towers and cobbled streets. Get there before dawn and wait for the sun to rise and you will be gifted with some fantastic photo opportunities, in particular the backlit golden hour shots of the old city. At this time of morning the bridge and roads are more or less deserted, but the occasional passer-by can add even more interest to this amazing location. Look for nooks and crannies in your compositions to place the sun behind. The trees on the west side of the bridge can make for useful framing devices. After the sun has risen, the streets are still very quiet, so a stroll either to the market square or along the canal banks can reveal more beautiful shots. Our second location is on the bridge and canal to the north of St Michael's. Both locations are perfect for evening and twilight photography. On a summer's evening, Grasberg is a fantastic location to get shots of the city with its distinctive post office tower. The canal banks are full of students enjoying a night out, adding life to an already photogenic scene. In this shot I waited until the blue hour for the city lights to come up. Although the weather was not perfect, the warm city lights made a fantastic contrast to the overcast blue twilight. I used the two bikes as a frame to the left side of the shot, forcing the eye towards the wonderfully lit city. The wide pedestrian banks of the canal also make a great location to shoot the Ghent skyline. In this shot, a 14mm lens has captured the city, St Michael's Bridge and a passing speedboat, all with a beautiful post-sunset sky. From pretty much any of the canal bank here, you can get a fantastic shot of this lovely skyline. Even after the sun has faded, the city lights can still make for some compelling images. And so on to Bruges. A short 30-minute train ride north of Ghent, Bruges is perhaps the more famous and consequently more crowded of the two cities we're looking at today. For dawn and early morning shots you can do no better than Minewater and the cobbled back streets of the city. Minewater is the largest lake and park on the edge of the city centre, and in the summer golden hour opens up some beautiful photographic opportunities. Using trees and leaves as framing devices you can get some really nice images here. The back streets, like in Ghent, can also give you some great golden hour dawn shots, such as this one. If the weather's not playing ball, those narrow back streets of Bruges can also make some great morning twilight shots. The warm artificial street and shop lights contrasting against the cold blue hour twilight. At the city end of Minewater is a classic Bruges shot, looking down the canal towards the St Salvador Cathedral. There are often swans on the canal here to add even more interest to your shot. The centrepiece of the city is Bruges Belfry. It's situated on Market Square, which although ornate and attractive is surprisingly unphotogenic and requires a fairly wide-angled lens to get the whole of the Belfry Tower in. Next to Market Square is De Burg Square, which is much more photogenic and has better views of the Belfry Tower at any time of day. The very best view of the tower, and one of Bruges' iconic photographic locations, is on the corner of Meul de la Rosas. Here you can shoot straight down the canal towards the belfry and get a beautifully balanced composition. It's a location that by its very nature is constantly busy with tourists, so you will need to find your spot, set up a tripod and wait for the light to become spot on. For this shot I was on location for nearly 5 hours, waiting on a fairly murky autumn day to see if the blue hour would make the shot any better. Fortunately it did, the clouds clearing around sunset leading to a very beautiful blue hour. In the shot I used a 4-second exposure with a neutral density filter and a graduated neutral to hold the sky a little. In post-production I pulled up the backlighting behind the belfry to give it a slightly more dramatic feel. Despite my tripod being kicked several times, being asked to take a tourist photo every 20 minutes and a sore backside from sitting on the wall, I'm pretty pleased with the way this shot came out. Bruges and Ghent are both wonderfully photogenic cities to visit. If I were to pick a favourite, it would be Ghent. It's a more student-orientated city with much less tourism than its sibling to the north. However, as we said at the top, both are very close to each other, and that makes it easy to squeeze both of them into even the most tightest of itineraries. Many of the images seen on this video are available from my website for licensing or as prints. Check out jasonrowephotography.co.uk for more. If you've enjoyed this video, why not give us a like and a subscription? We're looking to produce a lot more of these photographers' city guides in the near future. Thanks for watching.